Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018, and this is a bonus episode, episode number 2. It's still week 37 of the Gaming Decathlon competition, but this new series just taken off. This is career mode, it's Road to Glory, and this is a brief look in on the challenge mode. So I get a classic challenge here, and this is a time attack with checkpoints along the way. I'm at Suzuka in a classic 1970s. I'll have to tell you what it is later. But we're going to be heading to race number 2. This is hard to control. We're going to be heading to race number 2 here momentarily. Round 2 of the 2018 season takes me to Bahrain. And my first development is done. Just general wear. It is the only reliability improvement that I'm going to be making for a long time. But it has the most substantial effect for the smallest cost. This is everything improved by 10%. After this, it starts breaking down to individual parts for the same percent for the same cost. So a lot less bang for your buck. Weather forecast, it's a nighttime race.
Welcome to the deserts of Bahrain, where the Formula One circus has rolled into town. We're expecting the cars to appear out on track shortly to start today's practice session.
Practice is now underway. FP1, track acclimatization program, and I'm at Bahrain. Try to push my way through each of the programs in order to maximize my R&D points. I'll see you back at the end of practice. I head into FP2 with an electrical system fault. Not a link through repair though. I should be able to get back out on the track in just a moment. I've come to the end of the practice program, and I managed to get purple in everything, which made it a little bit too easy, but I'm not crazy high. I mean, Williams is only slightly below the midfield.
The temperatures may be lower than they were a few years ago thanks to the new start time, but this is still the desert. Grip's going to come and go as sand gets blown onto the track surface, and your cooling system's going to get a bit clogged up. Mind the brakes in particular, they'll probably be the first to suffer.
So there's a chance that I'll score some points this week and up that AI difficulty level. But these first 2 tracks are 2 tracks that I've never scored points at. I've always done a rear of the pack team. 2016 I was Haas, 2017 I was Sauber, 2018 now Williams. That's going to go ahead and wrap up this practice session, and we're going to head to qualifying. I actually struggled for grip a bit on the super softs, more so than on the softs. Running on the softs was pretty comfortable. Yes, I get a little more pace out of the super softs, but they didn't have the grip that they should have. I think that increased pace, taking those corners a little bit faster, the chassis, the weight, couldn't handle it. That the power in this car is good, but it's lacking in a few ways. And as I've mentioned in the last episode, the chassis is where my focus is going to be for a while. And I'm going to lock down the efficiency before anything else because we're playing the long game here, not the quick game. I'm not looking for a few quick fixes to be able to compete in the midfield. If it means I'm at the back, I'm at the back. I think the AI difficulty level plays a factor in that. As the AI difficulty level gets harder and harder, it'll be more and more difficult to maintain some sort of scoring average. But every time I score, the game's going to get tougher. Alright, well there's efficiency level 2. The next one's going to cost us 1,400. With that, we're going to head to qualifying for Bahrain. I've got enough in me to get out of Q1. Not sure I'll be able to get out of Q2 though.
The cars are ready, the drivers are ready. We hope you're ready as qualifying is about to begin here in Bahrain. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily, it's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
Conditions look good. First lap comes to an end, and that's a fantastic start to this one. Very good time. I actually made a couple mistakes on the lap as well. Had a bit of oversteer in one of the corners on Sector 2, in the tighter corners, and almost put it sideways. So I reached the end of Q1, and in just one run, I put in a really good lap, and it's not the best lap that I've run. So I'm feeling that I'm going to be a little too highly placed in this race for the car, but that'll balance out as the AI increases. Oh, totally had to abort there as Raikkonen gets in my way, ruins my first lap, comes right across the racing line as I'm going through at full speed and he was on his out lap. But I had a very good lap going until Raikkonen just cut across the racing line right in front of me.
That's P4. You've moved up to P4.
And for the second lap in a row, somebody on an out lap has cut me off. This time, at least with Van Dorn, I was able to get around him with little time lost. But if you look at the delta, actually, it's more than a little time lost. I am 0.8 of a second down. So both laps, someone has cut me off while on their out lap, leading to essentially a failed lap. And it's looking likely that I am not going to get out of Q2. I was 14th after the first run. Ooh, quite a bit of oversteer there. I'm still 0.2 of a second down. This is where I got cut off right here. So we'll see that quick change, and yes, I'm now a second better than that lap time from before, as that was where Raikkonen had cut me off. So nearly a second better, despite being cut off this time, because I did not have to get on the brakes as hard. I just had to go around the outside. And we come to the end of this lap, 0.8 of a second better, but it is only good for P11. So I am out of this qualifying in Q2. I will not get to Q3, as both laps saw someone cut me off. It was Van Dorn, who's now on his hot lap the second time around. While the second lap was better than the first, two laps that were both interfered with slow either one of them down. I'm about 1.5 seconds slower than I was in Q1. And that 1.5 seconds was enough to get me out in P11.
The curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Sakir as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today, with 15 corners and 2 DRS zones into turns 1 and turn 11. That should create some good passing opportunities. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Bahrain has showed us many times in the past though, Anthony Davidson, that a good strategy will only take you so far. Beyond that, you need good racecraft and you need good consistency.
And a little bit of luck too, I'd say. This is one of those circuits where the safety car always seems to come out just at the right time to condense the field together and mix up the cars on different strategies. It's hard on brakes, it's tough on fuel, and the main overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1, where it's easy to outbrake your opponent and potentially have a bit of argy-bargy as well.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Raikkonen, Valtteri Bottas, and Verstappen, Grosjean, Hülkenberg, Sainz, and Sergio Perez. The Professor, Magnussen, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Alonso, Hartley, Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and Marcus Ericsson. Leclerc and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Keep your eyes open on the run to turn 1 and keep it clean. We want to come out in one piece. Good luck.
Alright, with a 14-lapper, looks like we're going to stick with 6 laps here. I'm not a big fan of the Super Softs. The Softs ran better for me anyway. I think I can manage the fuel pretty easily here, so I'm going to lighten my load. Then again, that's not racing full out. We'll go 14. Five lights. Let's go racing. Lost a little traction there, but a good start otherwise. A little touch on signs. Shouldn't have gotten off the line there, but now we're starting to line up. I fall in to 11th, which is where I started the race. So we'll have to call that a good start. 9 times out of 10, my first flashback that I end up having to use is on the start, but I'm getting better and better at starts and not having problems. I had just a touch with signs there. Broke early enough to maintain my position. 5 lights going out. We're ready to go racing. Bahrain Grand Prix. And Vettel's off the line first. There I am on the left-hand side of the track. Lock up pretty tight, but I stay in it, keep my position, get to the inside, and get right to the point where I was when I started. Good, clean start to the race. This is the corner where I have the most trouble. Freaking late trying to get in on him. Can't get to the inside and hold it, but I do stay ahead of signs at Inherit P10. Oof, curb is a slippery one. I need to stay off that curb. That was one thing that I had problems with in practice, in qualifying, is occasionally getting up onto that curb. Try to stick my nose to the inside of Perez. Time to start managing that ERS. At the same time, I've got a chance to get ahead of Perez here. I think I can run standard on the fuel mix throughout the race. Definitely close to Perez there. Oof. A little too close to the gearbox, had to back off. Lost a little time, but I make it up here. Get right back on him. Looking to the inside here. Getting a bit of a run. Into the inside of Perez. Inside on the corner. We are still side by side as we come through. And that's enough to complete the move. Meanwhile, Sorokin runs in P18. Looks like Hulkenberg might be the next one ahead of me. There, Alonso makes a move and gets around his teammate Van Dorn. It's not very often that you see Van Dorn ahead of Alonso. Leading since the first lap is Sebastian Vettel, with Kimi behind him in P2. Hamilton runs third. Ricardo and Verstappen are 4th and 5th, and Bottas in P6. So the big 3 teams dominating the front of this race. Behind them you have the Haas, followed by Hulkenberg, so Grosjean and Hulkenberg. And I'm starting to be in a little bit of no man's land as I'm opening up a small gap to Perez, but it's still pretty small at this point as I'm conserving fuel and trying to store up some ERS. K-Mag's out of the race. Looks like he was behind us though. Vettel comes around to the front stretch Kimi's got DRS with that wing wide open. He pulls up beside him. He goes to the inside. He locks up the brakes, but he keeps it in there. Makes the move for the lead. Hulkenberg is the first to head to the pits, and we inherit the position as he does so. DRS here on Grosjean. We're still too far back though to make any sort of move at this point, but it is helping us close him down a little further, and with perfect timing too, as we are into that pit window. It might give us a chance to overcut someone. Like Hulkenberg would be the best example. Here on the very next lap, the Ferraris have reversed rolls, and on the soft tires, Vettel gets to the inside. Raikkonen locks up yet again, but this time it drops him down to P2 as Vettel retakes the lead. Pick up DRS as Grosjean heads in, among others as well. This is definitely my chance to go. Kimi Raikkonen heads for the pits. And he is held up there. Ricciardo is in as well. He makes it out quick. Just in time, too. Half the field has come in on this one. The Haas is in behind them. That's Grosjean. Next one out. The Force India. They all head back onto track. And there is the Sauber. Vettel's going to stay out another lap, and Hamilton is in here on lap number 6. Bottas stays out. Verstappen comes in, followed by myself. And good slowdown. No time lost there. He's already back out. And I'm stuck. I'm held there. Oh, get held up by the Toro Rosso coming in. This could cost me some time out on the track.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
And the overcut does not work. Thanks to the Toro Rosso. We lost a good second or two there. And we come out right back behind Hulkenberg. And at the moment we are P11. Should still be a couple cars left to pit though. We should at least be able to get back right around P9 as we look to be in the same place we were.
Sergey is in the pits. Sergey in the pits.
As he heads back down the front stretch. Meanwhile, they keep trading as Hulkenberg re-overtakes Grosjean using DRS on the front stretch. And we are back up to P9 where we were before the pits. I think that's everybody now. I have tons of space behind me to the Toro Rosso. They're almost not even in sight back there. And meanwhile, I'm still chasing Hulkenberg as I was before the pit stop. I've gained enough distance to pick up DRS. And meanwhile, Grosjean goes for a move on the outside of Hulkenberg. And they both lose a little bit of time through there. And I close them right down. Get right up on the gearbox of Grosjean. And now it's a 3-horse race. Really wide on that corner. Just about kept it in though. DRS. Hulkenberg, Grosjean gets up beside Hulkenberg, fights for position, and I'm able to take advantage and get Grosjean.
Battery charge is low. If we turn...
Auto oversteer coming out of that corner. But I'm able to recover without any losses. And now with DRS, can we close Hulkenberg down? We do. We make a move to the inside. Brake late. We're off the track. We're back on. He gives us enough space to get back on, and we're a half car length ahead of him. And we're able to make it stick into the next corner. A little more oversteer there as we hit the curbing, but we're able to stick it for P7 as we're getting pretty late in the race. Now they've got the DRS on me. Are they going to be able to come back? Hulkenberg gets his nose out. He's in beside me. I give him enough space, but I'm able to out-traction him on the exit of turn number 1 and hold it through turn 2. But right after turn 3, he's up beside me again. He gives me a little nudge and pushes me over to the other side. He's going to lock up here on turn 4, almost push me right off the track. And again, I out-traction Hulkenberg to retain the position. It's getting a little dicey. Grosjean has, meanwhile, closed right back up on us. And finally, I start to open a little bit of a gap. I really take off coming out of that corner and open up a bit of distance, even though they both have DRS. Close it back somewhat, but that handful of car lengths is about all I need as I begin to pull away from Hulkenberg and Grosjean. Here's Bottas making a move on Hamilton. He's got the DRS. He's to the inside, and he completes the pass for second place on the grid. Meanwhile, Vettel has himself a short straightaway lead, which is quite a few seconds over Bottas in second. Quite comfortably, must say. On to lap 12, running P7. Ricardo is way too far off in the distance, though I can catch a glimpse of him every once in a while. So unless somebody DNFs, there's no reason that I would be a higher position than I am now. So at this point, it's all about consolidating the position, as now Grosjean is the one behind me, as he's finally gotten around Hulkenberg. Meanwhile, a few good exits out of turns. That Mercedes power is going to really shine here. As we can see, I begin to open up that gap and pull away, even though Grosjean's sitting on DRS and Hulkenberg both still within a couple seconds.
Okay, gap to leader, 15.2 seconds.
Alright, other than a little bit of fuel management left here, looks like I'm just about secure unless I make a mistake, so. I suppose if I do that, I still have 2 flashbacks available, as I've only used 1 the entire race.
This is your final lap of the race.
Fuel is now managed. I don't have a ton of ERS, but I have enough. Final lap. Pretty solid here in P7. No reason to think that I won't hang on to it, though the tires are starting to go away from me a bit. And there's the checkered flag for Sebastian Vettel as he takes P1 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Bottas just sets the fastest lap. And we are safe and secure in 7th place. First time in the points. Good finish. And that's going to move the AI difficulty from 70 to 74 now, as that is 4 places into the scoring.
What do you think made the difference here?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And now it's time to wind down and celebrate after that fantastic Grand Prix. Here they come, your top 3, out onto the podium.
Bottas finishes P2, Hamilton P3, and today's winner, Sebastian Vettel.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
On to the constructors then. Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.
So with that performance, I move up to P10 in the driver's standings, and we go up to P7 in the constructors' standings. But again, the AI difficulty is going to be raised by 4 points with that 7th place finish from 70 to 74, so it's going to get a bit tougher in the next race going forward. Ferrari's currently on top, and Vettel is 2 for 2 to start the season.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled.
Let's see. Couldn't do this without a great team behind me.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Our power advantage really came in handy.
Did you have the wrong fuel strategy today, or was it your management?
I guess I ran the mix too long. I
Appreciate
maintained
your
it
time.
just fine, I thought. Actually never even ran rich fuel mix the entire race. Alright, another boost to the rivalry as we move ahead. 12-6. Comfortable lead over Sorokin at this point. Nice rise in reputation.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
You hit your last team goal. Well done. That should get the team a nice boost to their development, and it won't hurt when it comes to your next contract review either.
With my best career result in hand, it's only 2 races. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.